going on, guys, and welcome to today's video. And today we are putting a really ridiculously rare old MOPAR accessory that you couldn't really normally ever find on Cheap Jeep. Now, this is very not cool mod, but I think anything is cool of old MOPAR accessories. So what I have found is a old original MOPAR cabin air filter kit for a WJ. Hey guys, real quick, this is Tyler from later the same night editing this video. Come to find out, these cabin air filter kits are still very readily available on eBay. At the time, a few years ago, they were obsolete. You couldn't get them. But yeah, just got on eBay real quick, and there are listings for factory, aftermarket, cheap China ones, absolutely whatever. So if you're wanting one, just search Jeep WJ cabin air filter kit and yeah, pull up eBay, order you one. A cheap one was like 20 bucks. The MOPAR one showed like 50 bucks, but yeah, you can still very much get them. So kind of disregard everything I say about them being rare, other than the fact nobody originally got them with the vehicle. But yeah, so continue watching for the install of this old weird MOPAR accessory that you can still get on eBay right now. No factory WJ ever had a cabin air filter. They were just too old. It wasn't a thing. You know, it was never a thing until, gosh, 2011 on a Grand Cherokee, where you had a factory cabin air filter. But back in, gosh, I guess I'm not even sure what year this was added to the MOPAR accessory catalog, you could buy the MOPAR cabin air filter kit for a WJ. Look through the MOPAR accessories. You know, of course, normally you'd find the all-weather floor mats or the splash guards or the whatever, but they also had the MOPAR cabin air filter, and I assume this would be extremely rare and no one would ever purchase this thing, because who is buying the MOPAR cabin air filter kit? Now, I didn't really even know these were a thing until the good buddy of mine, who we went off-roading with before, was looking through old information and found the part number for the cabin air filter kit. I went into work and looked up the part number, and there was one left in the nation. We were able to order that, and he was able to put it on his Jeep. So he has the last new MOPAR cabin air filter kit that was in existence on his Jeep. I was lucky enough to run across one out at the salvage yard. So I was very happy, stole the housing, and on I went. Now, the filter, of course, was absolutely nasty, because I'll show you how horrible they are to check or to get to, but you still can get filters from O'Reilly's and AutoZone. 20 bucks, and I had a brand new filter. So I thought today I would show you guys kind of what to look for if you happen to be walking through a salvage yard, where to look to see if it has it, and then we are going to install it back here on Cheap Jeep. Now, I've already got it kind of torn apart, but we will look here on the red Jeep and, you know, see what we need to do to get to this thing, take it out, and install it on your personal Jeep. So guys, walking through the salvage yard, you're going to be looking through the vent or the cowl panel on a WJ, looking for that cabin air filter. Now, up here, looking through the cowl panel, you can see this does not currently have the cabin air filter kit. You can see the black plastic grate that basically covers the air intake for the HVAC housing right there. Now, if this Jeep had this installed, you would look down, and instead of seeing that black grate, you would see kind of the top edge of this thing. Again, this is the cabin air filter housing, and it hinges apart. So you would look down and see a lot more plastic here. You could kind of look in and see the white or filthy dirty cabin filter as you are looking through that upper cowl panel area. So again, that's what you're gonna be looking for if you happen to be out at your local salvage yard. Take a look and see. I was able to buy this for next to nothing because they didn't even really know what it was, because it's a random trim piece looking thing. So I bought the housing for nothing, got a new filter for 20 bucks. So I am very cheap into a cool mod. Now, no, a cabin air filter isn't terribly cool, but when you're out off-roading, if you're out in dirty, dusty conditions, currently a WJ just has dirty air blowing right into the HVAC housing, getting on your HVAC or your AC condenser, your heater core. It just kind of plugs everything up. And then again, you've got dirt and dust blowing right into your vents. This cabin filter design blocks the intake or covers the intake, so you should have very little to none dirt intrusion into the HVAC housing. So it's a pretty cool design that works really well. So we need to get this thing thrown on Cheap Jeep before our next off-road outing. So guys, first things first, you're going to need to pull the wiper arms off the vehicle. Now there are just plastic caps over the wiper arm nuts, and those are a 15mm nut there. You'll take it, break it loose. The issue is getting the wiper arms off. I am lucky enough to have a wiper arm puller, just a small little 2-jaw puller that you can put under after you get the nut off and tighten and break those arms loose. Now I have had decent luck, again, after the nut is off, taking that wiper arm and working that wiper arm back and forth and hopefully getting it broke off of the stud on the wiper motor. Now, if you're at the salvage yard and you don't really care about breaking things, you can be a lot more forceful, but remember, you're going to need to take it apart on your own personal vehicle once you get back home. So again, once those wiper arms are off, you are going to next need to remove the T30 Torx, which are just the little plastic holders, I guess, for the black cowl panel, and there will be 6 of those all the way across the panel. It's either 6 or 7, but again, they're just the black plastic and they will unscrew and pull off. Now guys, last but not least, you will need to pull the insulation or the weather stripping here off of the hood. Again, that just pulls right off, and then you will almost be ready to pull this panel. Over here on the side, you do have a wiper hose that is hooked up that you will need to pull the connection apart. It's a little 90-degree plastic fitting, and you can pull that apart so you have disconnected the wiper or the washer squirters from that panel, and then that panel will just lift up and out of the way. And then guys, last but not least, you will have the plastic panel or the grate intake there. Once this is off, that you will need to pry and pull off of the inner cowl panel area. Again, it's already pulled off of Cheap Jeep over there, but it doesn't really matter if you break it, since you are installing the new cabin air filter piece. So once you've got all of that off, this is what you'll be left with. You've got the wiper arms off, that cowl panel, the weather stripping, everything is pulled away, and then last but not least, you've got the plastic grate. Again, it will have a few clips in some of these holes and then a few tabs that clip behind these 2 openings. Now, with all of that out of the way, this will give you a really, really good opportunity to clean this cowl area up. If your Jeep has sat broken for any amount of time, I have found that these get absolutely packed with dirt, debris, leaves, anything and everything, and it is wet and nasty. That is a really bad place for it to start to rust and rot. So if you have this off, make sure you spend some time with a hose or a vacuum, whatever you need to do, and clean anything that is out of here. This thing has obviously been on the road, so there is nothing built up from it sitting broken under a tree. Okay, so we're gonna get our first piece installed. Now, I do think there are supposed to be 2 little plastic clips here that would clip into those 2 holes. Now, this one, when I took it off of the vehicle, didn't have the clips, and it had a zip tie fished through the holes and through there. I don't think, obviously, that is correct, but I assume either somebody installing this or servicing it or something broke it in the past, and that was their remedy. So I'm going to have to install it similarly to that, but it will be fine. Again, you're just wanting this thing to seal to that panel. We do have a nice clip still that I was able to get off in one piece, and then this other side has just a hook basically that is going to hook behind that panel. So now that we've got the hook clipped on, we've got that clipped in. Again, I don't really think it's needed because this thing is like solid as a rock, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw the zip tie on there because I think, like I said, there were supposed to be clips here from the factory, so we'll make it as factory-ish as we possibly can here with a 20-something-year-old part. Okay, so now that this is fully secured with our zip tie in the middle, or clips if yours still has that, and we are ready for our cabin filter. So like I said, cabin filters are still available for these things. I was able to pick this up at my local O'Reilly's, and it should drop right in this thing. Fits very nicely. Okay, and now you are ready to throw the door on, and it does just have 3 little places that it clips in to the bottom, and then it would normally just clip in here at the top. But this one has been kind of fiddled with. There are holes drilled in the upper clips, and it had zip ties installed. So again, somebody's kind of fiddled with this one because it has been kind of modified. So it seems like it was necessary though, because the clips really don't hold it all that tight. So I guess I'm going to kind of continue what they did and add those zip ties back into this thing. Now, like I said, this already has holes drilled, so I'll just be able to reinstall how they had it. And even though those zip ties are kind of fiddly, and I don't think you would normally have those, but it is at least now very secure and not going anywhere. So now with all of that installed and in place, we are ready to put everything back on that we took off. So you can see how horribly inconvenient it would be to check and or replace the cabin filter on a WJ. Wiper arms, cowl panel, I mean, that's not very convenient. That's gotta be one of the worst replacements of a cabin filter I can think of. But anything's got to be better than nothing on allowing dirt and dust into the vehicle. So I'm gonna get everything thrown back on here. Now guys, make sure you do not forget your washer hose here up in the top corner, because it's not gonna be very convenient when you actually need it. And now we've got all of our plastic clips here, or the Torxes that we took out, that you've got to just get lined back up on their stud and push those into place. And now we'll be ready for wiper arms. And if you take a look at your glass, there is going to be little marks. There are little marks that show you right where your wiper arms are supposed to be, so you can hold them right there on those marks when you tighten up those 15mm nuts, and that should have everything pretty much perfectly lined up for the wiper blades. All right guys, so here is that final look with the filter kit installed. So now you can see, instead of just looking back and seeing a grate, you see the top of that black plastic housing, and then there in the front you can see the intake. So that's kind of the difference, or what you're going to be looking at if you happen to be going through a salvage yard and trying to find one of these old school MOPAR cabin air filter kits. Well guys, obviously a very rare or random accessory here on the Jeep today, but as you guys know, I love the OEM Plus features or options or mods that we can do on these things. Again, I didn't even know this was a thing a few years ago until the buddy had bought one for his personal one, the last new one in the nation. So go out to your local salvage yard, do some looking around, or heck, look at your own Jeep. For all you know, that thing got the cabin air filter kit way back in the day before you owned it, and you've got a nasty cabin air filter, and now you know how to replace the cabin air filter in your WJ. Yeah, it's a lot of work to get to it, but it probably would be good to replace it if you have it, because you never know. It could be under the cowl hiding all this time. So guys, thanks for coming out to the garage with me and doing a very unique and cool MOPAR accessory from 20 years ago. And hopefully next time we've got cheap Jeep. I think we are planning on going off-roading this weekend, and we finally get to test out the Aussie locker that we installed in this thing forever ago and have not gotten a chance to go out wheeling again. So if everything goes well, we will be out wheeling. I don't really know when, I don't really know where, but somewhere we will be out wheeling. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.